And we're going. It's
a hot puke.
It's official. 25% of the Shark season in the books, and they finally decided to end a week with more than 2 points in their back pocket. Let's go. Did you enjoy the Instagram story on this today?
Yeah, that was, as they say in the business, choice.
Nice little callback there on the music. Hey, welcome to show 199. Oh my God, 200 next week. Oy. But yeah, we're all excited, especially Jerk, because it's a takeover. He loves those.
Hey, but you know what though? I don't know if you peeked at the old schedule there.
It's an early takeover.
It's early, so you know, my Sunday may not be ruined after all.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Well,
whoa, hey.
Well, I think what we're all going to determine on what ruins our Sunday next weekend is Eagles Niners.
Tell me about it.
It's huge.
One of my buddies is an Eagles fan, and he's like, he's been like, for the first 12 weeks of the football season, he's already been like acting like the Eagles have already won.
Chirping hard, huh?
And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, you won the last one, and it was a big game, full props, but it's a new season.
It is. So, welcome back to the Pucknologists, your only completely live, unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, commercial-free Sharks podcast, wrapping up your week in Sharks hockey, part of Teal Town, USA. Remember, help us stay commercial-free by using the Super Chat option during the live shows. Better yet, you can support us on Venmo. Find us at Teal Town, USA. And shout out to those over the last couple of weeks who have used Venmo and Super Chat. Super appreciate that, and super love not having to stop in the middle of a fun conversation because, we got to just take a break here to tell you how to, send mail, right? Mm-hmm. Stamps.com.
Yeah, there's a good rotation of the regular podcast reads, and we don't do any of them.
Yeah, dig it. Love you, Dangle, but oof. If this is your first time checking out our cast, though, remember to subscribe on the platform of your choice. Leave your takes in the comment section if you're not with us live. And remember, as always, if you need the 24/7 fix of Sharks talk, hit up the Jerk Man on the Tweety at hockey_jerk to score your very own Discord invite. And remember, this season, every episode of the Pucknologists, we're giving away prizes. Pay attention. I'm saying it. So lots to cover this week. I'm going to start off with how was your trip to the Bay Area?
It was good. The flight both ways was nice, not super empty. As far as flights go, I've definitely been on worse ones, so that was nice. There were 2 games occurring while I was there, one that I attended and one that I did not attend. I'll let you guess which one the Sharks won.
So the jerk bump was, in fact, in effect.
Well, see, it depends on which angle you slice it from.
Oh,
if you slice it from the traditional angle of I was at the game, no, it didn't work out.
It was, we're just taking it from I was in the general vicinity?
Yeah, I was. I don't know. You're a person who lives in the city. The tank and San Jose Airport, not exactly far away from each other.
No.
So I believe I was waiting for my flight around the time Granlund scored his goal. And if you really want my honest take, I think, the boys kind of realized that maybe that was going to be it before I went into the no sell zone. So they wanted to do something spectacular for me.
Get her done by then.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Nothing else makes sense to me.
Well, lots to cover. Labanc gets corkscrewed, misses a couple games. Quinn calls the team freaking embarrassing multiple times. You could tell there was definitely a few other F words that he would have liked to have used in that postgame, which we will play. Montreal gets their 4th win over San Jose since 2011. Been a minute. And despite losing the stats battle, the Sharks win for their second taco game How much are you loving that?
5 to go, man. 5 to go. A lot of runway left.
Dude.
So much runway left. You can't even say there's not.
It's kind of annoying me. So, I mean,
law of averages always.
Law of averages provides. So, where do you want to start? I mean, we can go with Vancouver. Dude, how does
Vancouver? Which Vancouver?
The first one, because the one in Vancouver, because I mean, dude, Hoglander getting a 5 and getting tossed for intent to injure, and only has to pay less than $3,000. I mean, dude, that's a night out for the boys, and you could potentially end a guy's career.
I'll tell you what, man. If there's ever a class action lawsuit that's like about insufficient penalties from the NHL leading to some kind of long-term effect on players, like whichever attorney is on that case is going to have so many exhibits to choose from.
You are not wrong, sir. The other thing I think needs to be pointed out as well is that Nico Sturm missed both Vancouver and Seattle, and the Sharks got absolutely owned in the dot in both of those. Big shocker.
I was going to say that's I think it would be more surprising if it was the other way around, no?
Yeah, I think people would be going, what? But I will say for that Vancouver game, dude, that Hughes top shelf snipe, that might be one of the best goals I've seen this entire season.
Yeah, well, and
that had no room.
Well, and no one better for it to come from than the person that a lot are saying, could double dip, Norris and Hart Trophy. So if you're going to get beat up on.
Yeah, right? If the guy's going to take you out to the bike racks.
Yeah.
Just saying.
At least, if you're going to get your shit pushed in, at least have it be by somebody who's,
Oh, wow. Wow. What, did you just watch Training Day or something?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Of course, we move on to the Seattle game. I mean, just what a bizarre game. I mean, first off, you have 8 defensemen.
Yep.
If that doesn't
8 defensemen playing as defensemen.
Yeah, like if that doesn't scream lack of options,
right?
And people out here trying to blame Quinn.
Imagine if Quinn had simply told Mike Greer to sign more quality forwards.
So it is Quinn's fault for not speaking up. Got it. Or perhaps calling anybody up. Yeah.
Many people are saying.
But yeah, and then this was game 3, I want to say, of Vlasic being scratched in 4 straight. Not really missing that there, I guess. But it continues. The Sharks have yet to win a game in Seattle.
Nice.
Gotta like that. Barbie's 13th game out. And at one point...
it's really sad, like, the way things have gone. Specifically with Barabanov, like...
Or the fact that the Sharks haven't had their captain the entire season.
Yeah, like, it's just... Those two things especially, it's just like you don't even, it doesn't even cross your mind. Like it's not like every game that goes by and it's like, man, if we had this guy back, or man, if that guy could get healthy, you know what I mean? Like they've been gone for so long that like I forget that they're sort of even on deck waiting to come back,
Oh, yeah. How are they going to get there when there's like 9 defensemen in their spots?
Right.
And speaking of which, Hochuk, did I do it?
Hey, there it is.
Hey. Was benched after the Bjorkstrand goal. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is I'm surprised everybody in this game didn't get benched for at least a shift. But again, you had 8D. What like all you're going to do is tax everybody,
right?
So what was the benefit? If anything, you sit in the fucking back of the plane on the way home. Like you didn't have any recourse.
Right.
Boy, and then Kakinen gets pulled. Blackwood starts the second, and everybody, of course, is going, "Yeah, you can't hang this on Kakinen whatsoever." I mean, I think one of those goals were savable, but when there's 7 of them, who cares? They don't ask how; they just ask how many. And they come back versus Montreal, and this one, of course, Quinn is going, as a big response of a competitive game, really liked the way they bounced back from, as you said, getting their shit pushed in. And, dude, I'm all for it, dude. Like, it's nice to see that the Sharks responded. We're talking about the Canadiens here. We're not talking about the Bruins.
Right.
Like, let's of course, you like to see that bounce back. They did win the next game, despite almost trying to lose it in the last couple of minutes. But
well, and even then, right? Like that game, like the game against Montreal, even though it was a loss and kind of a heartbreaking loss, like, I was at the game, and that I'll be completely transparent. That was the most consecutive Sharks hockey I've watched this season. And I thought that game against Montreal, despite the loss, was one of their better games. Like they, the little things that had been lacking, they'd done really well, shooting on the net, creating chances, battling on the perimeters of the rink, all these kinds of simple things that just should come, by default, happened. And like, yeah, it sucks to lose a heartbreaker, but if you look at the Sharks from at Seattle versus Montreal versus Vancouver, that's a very obvious trajectory up. And
exactly.
And that doesn't obviously help the Sharks if they want Macklin Celebrini, but as we've talked about all along, the Sharks need to show that they have a pulse at some points throughout the season, right? And what better way to do it than, or what better time to do it rather, when you have the sort of holiday bump, if you will, because both of those games on the weekend, they seemed, well attended considering the average attendance this season.
Absolutely, but let's offer a little bit of context in that, and I'm not trying to push anybody's shit in. It seems like I'm detecting a theme for this show, but it's a holiday weekend.
Sure.
Everybody has Black Friday off. So, like, I'm believe you me, I'm more than happy to see a nearly, they say tickets distributed for that one was $16,897. Sure. I mean, it definitely looked fuller than most games this season. And last night against Vancouver, it was over 15,000 distributed. So it's a holiday weekend. Like, I've been on this train for I don't know how long. Let's see December 12th, Tuesday versus Winnipeg.
Counterpoint. Like, yes, it's a holiday weekend, so
Jesse, I'm sorry, but Jesse also pointing out there were giveaways in both games. Like last night was the gaming thing with the tech tattoos, and then the previous day was the Ruzanowski thing.
Sure, but here's the thing. But here's the thing. If
solid call out, Jess.
Right, and the facts. Obviously, the facts are what they are, right? But at the same time, if you're going to add a qualifier for every good thing, right, then what's the point in pointing it out? You know what I mean? Like, regardless of the giveaway or the holiday or whatever, like, the fact is the Sharks were able to pull numbers 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
And I think we'll
see what happens against the Capitals tomorrow.
Capitals, I'm not so sure. Might be, if there's ever you keep talking about Winnipeg, but I think you're sleeping on how good the Jets are. If there's ever a game to set the lowest attendance record, I think it would be tomorrow.
Okay. Well, you know what? Jot that down. Maybe we need to have a little Finsky and see which one.
So which game is lower attendance, you mean?
Yeah. I think it's going to be the Jets.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not saying that the Jets aren't a good team. I'm saying that they don't travel.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Although, let me ask you this question.
Bring it.
If you are a person who lives in a place,
as one tends to do,
where would you rather watch your hockey? 5 degrees Fahrenheit, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Something to consider.
Something to consider, but that's not inside the building. It's just on the way.
But how many times have you not gone somewhere because you didn't want to go through the travel hassle?
Oh, sure. But yeah, no, I get what you're taking. Point taken. Molasses saying the tech tattoos, weren't they just stickers? I don't know. I wasn't at the game. Is that what they were? I was expecting like a tattoo sleeve type of a thing that you could just put on, like I thought that would have been really cool. I mean, I literally gave them the idea to do that, but okay. You do you. Finally, Vlasic gets back in last night against Vancouver. Dude, you love seeing Emerson get his first, of course. First goal by a defenseman that was actually playing defense this season, by the way.
Yep.
But Granlund, dude, highlight reel goal 20 seconds into the third. His first as a Shark. And I got to tell you, I'm like, it's about goddamn time. But, dude, coast to coast, that mightily impressive.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's not something that you expected to see from him, right? Like,
well, he set the bar so low this season.
Right, but I think if Hurdle had done that, or if Zetterlund or Eklund had done that, it'd be like, oh yeah, nice goal. Like, all right, cool. But like the fact that it was Granlund who, to your point, has set the bar so low, and then you come in and you pull off a move like that, it's sort of, I think, kind of follows the Hoffman sort of narrative, right? Where it's like, okay, you're kind of coming alive at the right time. Like, can we sort of keep this ball rolling? Maybe until the trade deadline.
I was going to say, that's what I'm looking for. And Puck guy coming up with he's like, oh, dude, I came up with the gaming night thing. Okay, that's credit where credit's due. I wasn't aware of that. I just came up with the tattoo idea. But Jesse saying, I don't think you can get below 10K. I think there are just over 10,000 season ticket holders.
Good point.
Good point. But last I checked, I thought it was published by Pashelka that it has taken a hit over the last couple of years, and that it's somewhere around the low 9,000s.
Well, if what the Sharks have said, I mean, they're just waiting for COVID to be over, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that still what they're saying?
I don't know. I don't talk to them anymore.
I'm just saying. I felt like it was like, far too long that they were saying, oh, well, we're affected by COVID, and it's like, well, no one else is.
Yeah. Well, and let's be honest, I would have won this bet like 3 weeks ago if it was tickets scanned, not distributed. They just put out a promotion that I guess sometime in the next week or so, I don't know if it's like it's like some random Saturday or whatever it is. There's some sort of like San Jose Fire Department versus San Jose Police or Santa Clara Fire Department. There's some sort of kind of beer league fundraiser game.
Sure.
The tickets on that, I'm sure, are not bank breakers by any stretch. But part of the promotion said this is how I'm going to get fucked, is that everybody who buys a ticket for this gets tickets for the Jets game. So I'm like, and I'm like, come
Wouldn't
on.
that be something?
Well, it's like, dude, I mean, talk about stacking the deck.
Right.
To me, that is a super duper red flag with fireworks. This game is selling for shit.
Well, dude, they want to, like, come on. Like, we both know that they're trying to stick it to you. So,
oh, of course.
What better way to do that?
Of course. Yeah, I would love to bring back stock tickets, Sleepy, but never gonna happen. We've moved on.
Fill me in. What stock tickets?
Paper tickets that you could, actual ticket stubs.
Why? So they can get lost on the way to the tank, and then you have to go bitch to the ticket office. Like,
well, that's on you.
No, I know, but
you could lose to be fair, you could lose your phone too.
Sure, but what's more likely, losing your phone or losing a piece of paper?
Oh, if you have your shit together, neither.
Fair.
You'll be fine.
You make an exceptional point.
So, on the week, it wasn't too bad for the Sharks. I mean, 3 points in 4 games. I mean, let's be honest, kind of an upgrade the way this season has gone, but they did score a power play goal in 3 of the 4 games this week.
Nice.
They allowed 3 power play goals this week, but, so I guess it's kind of a wash. But either way, you have that there going for you. And again, context does mean a lot. One of the things that Vancouver media pointed out was that, Vancouver lost this by 1 goal, and the Vancouver media was saying, okay, well, Vancouver did, hang a 10 spot. It basically embarrassed them in the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
It was also the Canucks' 7th game in 11 nights, and it came after a 5-1 win Friday night, the night before in Seattle. The Canucks didn't get into San Jose until about 2 a.m. Saturday morning.
Right.
So...
And the thing is, like, I don't know.
And they did go with DeSmith and not Demko.
Right.
I think they could have just thrown Demko's jock out there, and Vancouver would have won.
Right, but like from the Vancouver media perspective, like I don't know the need to defend a loss like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm right there with you, but dude, you also can we talk about the entitlement of the Vancouver fan base? Remember, this is a team back in 2011 that called up radio stations saying we should let Boston win one so we can win the cup on home ice.
And then what happened?
Exactly.
let me speaking of questions, let me ask you this one. So this one's going to be a little bit of a 2-pronger. I want to see if you can
Somebody say pronger?
Catch where I'm going here. So if you recall, that might have been 2 seasons ago, maybe 3 seasons ago.
What are we talking about?
We're just talking.
Okay.
Do you recall one of the first wagers that we made was which of these teams do we think is going to be, which of these whatever you want to call them, bubble teams, non-playoff teams, whatever, which of these teams do you think are going to be more interesting, more successful this season? And you had picked the LA Kings and I had picked the Vancouver Canucks.
Mm-hmm.
And just to kind of look back a little bit now, a couple years later, who are the 2 hottest teams in the Pacific Division not named Vegas?
Well, and I would take that a step further. Would it bake your noodle to know that over their last 10 games, the Sharks and the Golden Knights have the same fucking record?
That surprises me.
Right?
Not because the Sharks have won 4 games, because obviously, like, how much have we talked about it? Like, the Sharks are going to win at some point, right?
Well, now it's going to be law of averages says they have to win at least 1 road game.
Right. Yeah,
Wonder when that's happening.
and the thing is, like, why I find it so surprising, it's not on the Sharks end, it's on the Vegas end, because the first month and a half of the season, Vegas was just running through everybody.
Oh, it was like, how long can the winning streak go?
Right. And now it kind of feels like they've hit the wall, which, I mean, similar to Vancouver and Los Angeles, right? Like, they're going to win more than they lose, and they're going to be fine. But it's just interesting, like, October to November, how stark of a contrast it's been for them.
Big time. And the funny thing is, Leonard isn't there to blame it on.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, I mean, what did we learn this week? If you corkscrew a guy, and you only have to pay the minimum, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Don't understand it. I'm sorry. That to me needs to start at a 3-game suspension.
Yeah, I would agree, especially because you think about it, like, slew footing, I think, is significantly more dangerous than slashing or high sticking, or I would put slew footing like in the same conversation as like boarding. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'd put it in there as like just McSorley Brashear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Tony Couture saying, this is, oh man, can't wait to whine jerk up with this one. Tony Couture, what could Joe Thornton offer the Sharks if hired as a special coach to improve team attitude? Why hasn't Jumbo started working for the Sharks development like Marlowe? Tony, the only person that can answer that is Joe Thornton.
Well,
I think Chief just, he's a rink rat. He loves being around the boys. And I guarantee he'd rather shower at the Tech CU than shower at home. He wants to just be all up in the, in the rink. But I don't think he wants at this point like a daily responsibility. I think he wants to be like a kind of, I'd say the best way to describe it is like maybe a consultant. Just ask him his opinion And well, I'd think about doing this, but I don't think he wants like to be responsible. If you get what I'm saying.
Right. Well, and not only that, like he just retired, right? Like how would it be if like he retired 3 seconds ago, and then it's like, okay, yeah, like I got more time for my family, and now I'm going to take a job that takes me away from my family.
Yeah, and of course, let's be honest, we're talking about Jumbo here. He probably doesn't want to get tied down to anything because somebody might throw a PTO at him. He's just waiting, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen people unretire before. You know, you need to scratch the itch one more time. You know,
right? But he filed the paperwork, and to your point, didn't they post the video of him doing that like 3 weeks ago or something? That he actually did his little shirtless video that said,
yeah, he did the video that he was done.
Yeah, so I think with that, like you're saying, I'm going to enjoy life a little bit. I'm going to find out what the new routine. You know, you're talking about guys that they had for 20 some odd years, well, longer, but in the NHL, they have that routine. They love that routine. They're conditioned to that routine. I think he, is still kind of doing the routine a little bit and is going to navigate his way out of it. But I don't think he's going anywhere, you know.
Well, but here's the other thing, and I think with Joe Thornton, it's something that you can speculate about just because of his history as a hockey player. But you notice like sometimes some of these guys, they'll say, "Oh, I'm retiring from the NHL," but that doesn't mean they're retiring from hockey.
Absolutely,
and not to say that Joe Thornton is days away from signing a deal or anything, but because he has played in Switzerland professionally on 3 occasions and also expressed a desire to do that, maybe during the pandemic he scratched that itch, but I don't feel like somebody who has experience playing internationally and somebody who vocalized wanting to play internationally, I don't really think you can count anything out.
Yeah, not at all. And I think
something else to consider just to really perpetuate the conspiracy. By virtue of Joe Thornton being married to somebody who's from Switzerland, he's sort of like backdoored into having Swiss citizenship. So he could join a Swiss team and not be considered an export or an import. I'm sorry.
There you go. Well, and Taco bringing up something that is easily is a see, he's addicted to taco now. Saying being a great player doesn't mean you will be a great coach. And the obvious examples that have already been noted in the chat, Gretzky and Patrick Waugh, sure, but I would go the other way with it.
So just really quick, I don't know if you saw, we just got a note from one of our producers. Apparently Justin Braun is doing the old retired from the NHL, not from hockey thing.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But to get back to my point is Gretzky and Waugh, not good coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's a pretty goddamn good coach, not the best player?
Don't say it.
I'm saying it.
Tell me who.
Have you heard of a gentleman, former Shark, by the way, Jim Montgomery?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Not exactly like the most well-known guy.
I'll do you one more.
Say it.
Dean Evison.
Hey now.
I'll do you a third one. Mike Sullivan.
So we're going all former Sharks then.
Well, that was your point, was it not?
No. It was just coincidental.
Well, I think it hits home.
Yeah. And Ryan pointing out Patrick Waugh is better as a junior hockey coach. That's the whole thing. And I would say Joe Thornton, I think he might be a pretty decent developmental coach or a guy who's going to be out there at practice or whatever, but not somebody you want behind the bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just because, especially with Joe Thornton, and it obviously it's to be expected, being that he was a player, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Joe Thornton is a very he's a player's player kind of guy. He always Ferda boys, right? Love the boys, all that kind of stuff, right? And so it's kind of hard to be, all about the players, all about the teammates, and all that kind of stuff, right? And then to transition a role where now even though you did play, like you're not currently a player, and that's kind of, I imagine, something that's a bit tough to reconcile.
Absolutely.
Something to think about.
Oh, boy. Boy. All right. So, in the Sharks' 3 wins going into the Montreal game, despite being outshot 125-7-2, they crushed the Dot, won special teams battles, and like I mentioned earlier, oddly enough, Montreal, they finally won the shots on goal battle for the first time this season. Took them 20 games, but they got absolutely worked in the circle, and that was with Sturm returning. Maybe a little jet lag there, we don't know, but they did win the special teams. And then in the win over Vancouver, the Sharks lost shots on goal, they lost the Dot, they lost special teams, still came out with a win. So it just goes to show, man, there's only one number on that scoreboard that means anything.
Yep. Goals. Just in case
said.
anybody wasn't sure.
Yeah, just to clarify. Who's on IR right now? I mean, it has been we got like 4 names on IR, right? It's like Ruda.
It's Couture, Ruta, Barabanov, and Lindblom. And then Mitchell Russell, who's a prospect, is on season opening injured reserve.
But it's just, I mean, Couture, Barabanov, Ruda, Lindblom, I don't count. I think once he comes off IR, he goes right back to the CUDA.
Oh, sure, but he's still there.
Yeah, like technically. But the other guys, if they get healthy, I think they fill spots on the Sharks. But, man, a lot of just, plus Sturm leaves for 2 days for personal reasons. Vlasic getting scratched for 4 straight.
Labanc was banged up.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Benning just came back.
Right? It hasn't. McDonald came back recently. So my question being is, that's 21 games in. We're officially 25% through the season. What have you liked so far? And don't fucking start with Eklund. That's low-hanging fruit.
Hey, low-hanging fruit are still nutritious.
Oh, man, I knew you were going to say that.
Tell me it's wrong.
It isn't wrong. Although I do. Okay, see, now we're talking about this, and Lacey makes a good point. What the hell did the Sharks do with Knizhov when everybody's back? And dude, I hate that question.
I was gonna say, as much as I don't want to admit it, and I think Like a Tiger is right.
Where's Tiger? Or is it not?
Probably. I think right under Kevin's point.
Trade. Yeah, I mean, if
it's not indicative of him as a player, it's just a numbers thing, right?
Absolutely.
And it would bum me out because I genuinely like the player, like the person. So hopefully when he does get in the lineup, he can do something that kind of establishes himself as being separate from the pack, you know?
Yeah. So back to the nutritional fruit. What have you liked on these first quarter, as we're at the quarter poll?
I mean, it is a low-hanging fruit, you're right, but I have liked Eklund, to the point that we had made a week ago, is, it's time, right? It's time to start moving forward in the right direction and making an impact at the NHL level. He's doing that,
Well, and I think the other thing that helps is that he's finally paired with talent.
I've liked that.
Which goes back to a good decision by the coach.
Yeah. I've liked how after 3 years, the Sharks have finally taken on a goaltending reclamation project that appears to work out. That
dude.
Mackenzie Blackwood.
Solid pull, dude.
Yeah.
Finally. I mean, how many have there been? Ugh.
I mean, Devin Dubnyk, James Reimer, Capo Kakinen.
Was Stalock part
Hill,
of that too?
Alex Stalock.
Aaron Dell?
Some of those, Aaron Dell. Some of those guys were a bit more transitional than others, but still, the fact that it's been a revolving door of goaltenders, and now, Blackwood, he's got this year, he's got next year under contract. Like, if next year goes the way it's going this year, I see no reason why he doesn't get an extension,
I'd be pissed off if he doesn't get an extension. And in fact, we're going to talk about Blackwood in a little bit. Is there anything else you're kind of digging so far? On a glass half full kind of outlook? Yeah,
I've really enjoyed, and I am going to pat myself on the back here a little bit. I was one of the few...
Incoming wank session?
No, I'm not going to mention it. I was one of the few people who kind of was saying, hey, let's just hang on with Zetterlund because of reasons X, Y, and Z. You need to give him a chance to sort of flesh it out, right?
Absolutely, give you your cookies on that.
And I would argue, I don't want to say most, but I would argue he's top 3 consistent Sharks this season. I mean, he's tied for second on the team in points. He's been somebody where, like I said, I think you'd kind of just let it breathe for a second, and eventually you get the outcome you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand why people are mentioning trade for Corey Perry. Chicago doesn't even want Corey Perry right now. Another thing that we'll get into. So glass half empty then.
Even though.
Oh, hold on. Before you get that, glass half full. Kalen Addison trade.
Yep.
Solid.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Alex. Just taking the gamble, right? And
which there have been many.
Yeah, but taking the gamble, and so far it seems like it's working out, and 4 assists in 9 games. You almost wonder if those numbers would be a bit higher if the guys he was passing to could fucking score. Yeah, that's a good shout, Alex.
Yeah. Before we go any further, stamps.com is an yeah,
Hello Fresh.
Yeah, for me, what have I liked? Of course, like you said, Eklund. I've liked seeing. I was a little trepidatious to see.
Whoa, hey.
I know words. I was sus in the way that Hertl was going to have this leadership thrust upon him in Couture's absence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it took him a few games to work some shit out.
Yep.
But this last week or so, I'm like, yeah, okay, now I've seen it in the past where I go, Hertl should be wearing the C. And of course, other people go, what are you talking about? You can't understand half the shit he says.
Hey, that's, whatever, right?
But Chief is coming through. I mean, by far and away leads the team in assists. He's helping out.
Mm-hmm.
He's answering the bell at post game. He's getting on some of the guys saying, we can't, when our goalies are getting run, we can't just sit there and whip out our phones and get it on video.
Right.
We actually have to do something. So I've liked Hertl's response in Couture's absence.
Yeah, I think that's a really good shout as well.
Eklund, like you said, I mean, just to what you said. Blackwood, just what you said. Defensively, that's where I kind of get stuck. And again, this might be kind of a glass half empty kind of a take, but the thing that kind of kicks me is I hear the media going, oh, Mario Ferraro, just what an amazing shot blocker. And yeah, okay, he blocks a lot of shots, but you know what that also says? The Sharks are giving up way too many fucking shots.
Right. Well, and not only that, but being a good shot blocker, that doesn't tell the whole story.
Not at all. So I would say glass half empty. Ferraro, I think to a certain extent, I think you can put this on deployment that he keeps getting thrust into a top pair role when he should be middle.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that I would say that goes back to Greer and options that this team has when you look at the roster. Who is your MVP of the season?
I mean, you talked about low-hanging fruit. How is it not Hertl?
I think you can make the case that it could be a two-way race there between Hertl and Blackwood.
I would totally subscribe to that.
Yeah, because I think, boy, if it was Reimer and Kakinen, I mean, dude, I'd be shocked if this team had more than one win.
Which is really unfortunate, not for the Reimer part, but for the Kakinen part, because I actually genuinely like Kakinen as a goaltender,
I do. It's just, man, does he seem to just have some bad luck from time to time. It's just Ferraro is bad and should feel bad. It's one of those things sometimes with Kakinen where when it's a tight game, he just lets in that extra where you're just like, just that, just that one. And then there's other times where he does stand on his head, but he does, look, you can sit there and go, oh my God, I can't believe they lost 10 nothing, or what was the 6 nothing, right? To Tampa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's, they lost 6 nothing. Our goalie sucks. And it's like, are you not paying attention to the donut on the scoreboard?
Well, my response to that would be, you can't believe it, really?
But you get what I'm saying.
No, totally.
You can call out the goaltending, but in the same breath, you can't sit there and wave a flag about why couldn't any of these players score at least one.
Yeah.
So,
just one.
Yeah, that's just one, man. So let's hit up some numbers. What do you got there? Numbers? So far for the Sharks, even strength 23 goals, power play 11. So basically about a third of their goals are coming on the power play, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, no kidding.
When you look at the last couple seasons. Now, conversely, the penalty kill, which, that was something that the Sharks, even when they sucked, during the, when things weren't maybe going that well, when Bugner was coaching. The thing is, for Bugner and company, they can't score, but god damn, how is it that they're able to have this amazing penalty kill? Well, at last look, the Sharks' penalty kill is 30th. So definitely something you might, and again, it also comes down to the fact that they are letting in shots on goal. They're leading the team, or leading the league. Dude, I mean, we're 21 games in. The Sharks have had 597 shots on goal against. That is a lot of. The last time I ran the numbers, the Sharks are giving up about 3.6 goals per game. Their current goal differential is -55. And when it comes to goals against, they've allowed 61 even strength goals, but 21 power play goals. So they're averaging giving up a power play goal per game. That's tough.
Kind of staggering to hear that,
Right? Yeah, when you put it in that context. And through 21 games, 10 points. What does that tell you on an 82-game pace? That's about what, 38, 39 maybe?
Yeah, if you extrapolate that, it's 39 if you round.
Yeah. How many did they have last year? 60?
It was at 67, 66?
I thought it was 60.
Man, it might have been. Somewhere in that arena.
Like 77 the year before.
Right.
So, oof. And so far, it's been a little bit better when the Sharks score first. So this season so far, when they've scored first 9 times out of 21, they're 4-5. In 10 games out of 21, they've had the lead, whether they scored first or fought back that one time. They're 4-6. At home, they've scored first 7 of those 9 games. They're 4-3. So you talk about a team that it seems at this point they have to take advantage of any time they're at SAP Center.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that will kind of get you is that this team has progressively gotten worse as games have gone on. The goals for versus goals against by period. Goals for 10 in the first, 26 against in the first period. In the second, 13 for, 27 against in the third period, dude. 11 for, 34 against. That is a ball kicker. And the shot on goal differential, -243.
Well, it's another piece of evidence to your point that if you get the lead early, like, you need to either play to hold it or play to run it up. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to win a chess match.
Not at all. Not at all. And Ian pointing out, I'm assuming this has to do with Blackwood.
No, Reimer.
Oh, Reimer. Oh, excuse me. Reimer. 2.30, 917. I mean, about league average. There you go. Now, the one that'll also get you is last season, the forward group was averaging 5.4 points per game. This year, it's 2.9, so about half. Last season, of course, coming from the blue line, it was 2.3 points per game. Obviously, a large portion of that ended up in Pittsburgh. But right now, through 21 games, the blue line has delivered 21 points. I'll let you figure out the math on how many points per game that is. So significantly lower, which tells me it's like, okay, you've lost a lot of offensive talent. What does that mean? You need to lock it down defensively, and it's really something they've struggled to do.
Mm-hmm.
So 21, over the next 20 games, as we make our way to the halfway point, what are you expecting to see? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if between now and then there's another shitting of the bed. There's another freaking embarrassing game.
Embarrassing game? Sure. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Well, what do you think was more embarrassing? Getting, pumped 7-1 in Seattle where nobody was awake, or losing back-to-back games, giving up 10 goals in each?
Definitely the 10 spot. Just because, every team, even the good teams, has an isolated incident where they get blown up, right? But to give up 10 in a row, 10 2 games in a row, that's historical. As for your question of what I'm looking for leading up to the halfway point of the season, or what I'm expecting, rather, I kind of think the Sharks hockey that we've seen the last 2 weeks, kind of the win 1, lose 2 sort of operation.
It's going to be a bit more indicative of where you see it.
Yeah, I kind of think that's going to be what we see, just because the worst team ever doesn't lose 12 games in a row consistently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, and absolutely. But it's obviously you want to see progress, and losing a game 10-1 and then the next game 10-2.
That's the wrong kind of progress.
Yeah, that's not the progress necessarily that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
We went from a -9 goal differential to a -8. How do you not take a positive from that? Dude, you know what I'm looking for is, I don't want to say more consistency from Blackwood and Kakinen, because, I mean, dude, they've combined for a 9-12 in these last 10 games, where they went 4-5-1.
Which is above league average.
Yeah, so if anything, I'm hoping maybe they can find a second gear.
Yeah.
Maybe they start to get a little bit more defensive support. The Sharks don't give up as many odd man chances, don't give up as many high danger chances, start to play a bit more defensively sound, and all of a sudden, hey, maybe those Kakinen numbers start going up, and as that deadline's coming up,
Need goals more than anything else, right?
Absolutely.
Playing good defensively is not going to mean anything if you're only getting 2 1/3 goals a game.
Yeah. Well, it's it's just kind of like, how many 1-0 wins can this Sharks team manufacture?
Yeah, no kidding.
So, I mean, and in the Sharks 4 for 12 on the power play in the last 6 games. Before that, they were 7 for 46. So it really goes to show you that despite the shitstorm that occurred in Seattle over the last 10 games, it has gotten better. But let's just hear the tongue lashing, because it's great.
Embarrassing. We weren't ready to play. 2 breakaways in the first minute and a half. I mean, just absolutely freaking embarrassing. I mean, we lost every single battle, got beat off walls. Every time there was a 50-50 puck battle, we're fishing for pucks, get on the wrong side of it. One guy would get beat one-on-one, and the other guy would dive in. It was embarrassing. When you're chasing the puck all night long, that's what happens. When you're reaching and not interested in competing in a one-on-one battle, you're going to take penalties. And it wasn't just him. When you don't skate and you just run around chasing a puck, that's what's going to happen. It's a National Hockey League. They've got real good players over there. And when you lose one-on-one battles all over the rink, because when you go to a situation and you got your head down and you're fishing for a puck, I mean, I'm not trying to kill people. You got to get competitive, and you got to make sure you play through people and get flesh and controlled flesh, so you can beat people back to the middle of the rink. And all we did was chase the puck. That's all we did. I don't want to hear about freaking fragile, okay? It's a National freaking Hockey League, and you better show up ready to play every freaking night. I don't care about fragile. Sometimes you don't have it. I get it. But you want to show up and play with the right freaking intentions, and we didn't do it. You got to come here and show up to play with the right freaking intentions, and not many guys did, if any.
I mean, that was locked in as fuck your feelings.
Came off the top rope with that one.
Dude, I don't want to hear fragile bullshit. I don't want to hear any excuses. And he was totally right. So before we get a little further than that, let's get to our heroes and zeros. I mean, who else could it be but Hoffman?
Yeah, good point.
I mean, 6 goals, 7 points over 6 games, suddenly leads the team in goals.
Yeah, I mean, everything he touches goes in right now, so I kind of think you just put it in his hands, right? Or put it in his stick.
I mean, at this point, would you be, throwing up the tweets, some pissed off tweets, if the starting line tomorrow isn't Hurdle between Hoffman and Eklund?
Well, and so, excuse me, it started off as Hurdle, Eklund, and Zadina for the game against Montreal, and then once Zadina got banged up, guess who was right in there? Hoffman. And so, to your point, I see no reason not to start with that trio. Yeah,
well, and that's when we were talking about glass half empty. That Zadina is probably a name that I should have mentioned.
Well, now it sounds like, I don't know if you heard the commentary or not, but now it kind of sounds like he's been banged up the last little bit. And so it makes me wonder if it's like a Jonathan Dahlen 2.0 kind of thing where he's injured, which prevents him from doing what he does best. And then people get mad at him because he's not doing what he does best. You know what I mean?
I feel that.
It's just something to keep an eye on. I can't say if that's definitively what it is one way or the other.
Is there anybody else that you would give a hero of what you like? I mean, if it's just the one, like it's so deserving that we don't need to give out another one, that's fine.
I would just say the Sharks. I would just say that line, the duo, I guess, because they've kind of had a couple different guys cycle through, but just Carpenter and Cunnin as a duo. Like I felt like they've played really well defensively and they've gotten chances offensively too as well. And we touched a little bit on it last week, but I just think getting those kinds of contributions from the bottom of your lineup, I mean, it's not going to help this team win the Stanley Cup, but it's, again, talking about trends, like you're sort of setting good expectations. So I would just say kind of maybe an honorable mention to that duo, if anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I wasn't aware that that Al had a burner account. No? Okay. My other hero, if anything, it's not a hero. Honorable mention. Stick taps to all the people that for whatever reason decided to come out of the woodwork to respond to a tweet that I had around the whole Quinn thing, which we'll get into here in a second. But it's like, dude, I've never had many people have this, or I've never had this many people who don't follow me, have never tweeted at me before, come at me. I'm like, camper fucking move. 0. I said it already, dude. And I hate to. I think Ferraro is a hell of a guy. Mm-hmm. And again, as I stated earlier, I think a lot of it also has to do with deployment, lack of options that he's playing. He's being made to play above his head.
Right.
But I mean, give me a couple other options. Maybe I'll just glom onto one of yours.
Well, and it's begrudging because I don't want to do it, but maybe it'll give him a bump. But I kind of was hoping that through 18 games, Anthony Duclair would have more than 3 goals.
Oh, you so right.
Especially because I think like of the guys that the Sharks brought in, right? Hoffman, Granlund, Duclair, Zadina, like of all those forwards that kind of came in, right? Like Duclair is the best of the bunch. And he's the most likely to have a future on this team beyond this year kind of thing. And so it really kind of bums me out that he hasn't been able to do more,
Mm-hmm. And you know what? For honorable mention on the hero side of it, I'm going to say Zetterlund.
Okay.
I'm going to throw that in there. But the other 0, I mean, you were scratched for 4 straight games. Marc-André Vlasic.
Yeah, I feel like this is a new level of bad for him.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Ask it.
Do you think Marc-André, despite whatever the contract is, do you think Vlasic is in Teal next season?
Yes.
regularly?
No.
Like we're talking 70.
I mean, it's hard to say right now just because we don't know how the rest of the season is going to go. You know?
Like I almost feel like it's what happens if the Sharks waive him? Can they?
He's going to be one
part
of
his contract.
He's got his deal converted this season actually to a modified no trade clause. So they could if they wanted to. But he would be the highest paid AHL defenseman probably of all time. And the thing is, like, right now, if Vlasic continues at this same pace, he's only going to play in 55 games this year.
Well, maybe that's something that you just start. He only plays like one of every 3 games.
I mean, right now,
thing
is, dude, to your point, right now it doesn't really matter. But hypothetically, say 2 years from now, the Sharks are in a position where they're trying to win games, and Vlasic is not one of the 6 defensemen to help you do that.
Of course. And Ryan saying, asking, they can't buy Vlasic out. Yeah, they can. You don't want this guy around here any longer than he needs to be. And the Sharks, obviously, not projected, not doing well. I mean, we can all see it. Not going to do well this year. Likely not doing well next year. I've said it before. I think this is like a 3-year plan. These first 3 years of Greer, just go and look at cap friendly. Look at the length of the contracts. The vast majority of them all end next season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a large part of it. So, but buying him out to just keep him around when you can just sit his ass. Not to mention the fact that what's the cap going up next season? About $5 mil? 3.5 to 5.
If the projections are correct, it'll be somewhere between 3.5 and 4.
Okay, so you got that, but yeah, there's no reason to buy him out. You don't want that more dead money on the books.
The only way it would make sense to buy him out is if you think you're going to be a good team next year, or you need to make room for something else.
Exactly, and the Sharks don't need that.
Right, and
Ian's pointing out.
Well,
the contract's all signing bonus, so the buyout would be fucking brutal.
Brutal, yes, but compared to when this conversation was had 2 years ago, not so much.
Nice.
But here's the other thing to think about too. So, when Minnesota Wild, when they bought out Parise and Suter, they were kind of in a transition, and so it makes you think, like, why buy them out if you don't totally know that you're going to make the playoffs? And well, it was because they needed cap space to re-sign Joel Eriksson Ek, to re-sign Kirill Kaprizov, to re-sign their freaking captain. You know what I mean? So I don't think if you apply that same logic to this situation, I don't think it makes sense to buy out Vlasic unless you think you're going to be good next year, or you have somebody that you need to re-sign.
Dude, Kevin in the chat.
Hint.
Dude, Kevin in the chat just went super fucking dark, dude. Should the Sharks start playing Vlasic 40 minutes a game to increase his odds of suffering a career-ending injury? Dude, that is fucking dark. No, I mean, dude, I get what you're saying, and I understand the joke. I get it. No, if anything, it's no. You're watching more games from the press box than anything, but. Yeah, and Denver saying it as well. You just eat the contract, move on in a couple of years, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you don't want to stretch this out any longer. So we move on here. All right. Darren Drager, your boy on Overdrive, suggested the Oilers should be making advances, making kissy faces at the Sharks in their hopes of securing Mackenzie Blackwood.
Sure.
And, but the one thing that popped in my head before we dive into this, I wonder how many of the people that wrote articles about what Drager said, I wonder how they would feel if people were writing articles based on their articles or reporting for clicks. I mean, just seriously, you could just tweet a link to the Overdrive episode instead of using, fashioning his quote or using his quote to fashion an article for clicks. I just, God, whatever. But, bro, you build from the net out. If I'm the Sharks, I tell the Oilers to go fuck themselves. Because it's like, this is like you had said earlier, it's how much of a rotating door has the goalie, the crease been? They finally seem to have found something to solidify that position. Why? To me, it would be colossally fucking stupid. The only way I make this deal is if the Oilers, as part of all the details in the contract, say for whatever reason, just say it. The Oilers get Blackwood and still suck.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I would make that deal, and of course this would never happen, but the only way I would cut that deal is that there's a stipulation in the contract that says, oh, if you still end up with the number 1 pick this year, the Oilers and the Sharks trade picks. There's no way they don't get out of this with first overall because it's too fucking important.
I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense to trade Blackwood to anybody.
I completely agree with you.
Unless there's only 2 scenarios where it makes sense. The team that wants Blackwood offers you a return that you're just dying to have, to your point, first overall.
Yep.
Or something comparable. Or option number 2 is you somehow decide that all of a sudden you have a surplus of quality goaltenders, which the Sharks do not.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but it's just, I see a lot
Debunked. Next question.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw all this talk about all these rumors, the Oilers and the Hurricanes should be pounding on San Jose's door. And and reading this shit or listening to it, I'm just, all I'm doing is, in my head, I can hear Jerk going, no, if you're Mike Greer, you're blocking those area codes.
Yeah.
Not even taking your calls. All right. So I think what we're saying here is you ain't getting Blackwood. Fuck off. Then, following the Seattle game, here we go again. Fire Quinn. Quinn got to go. Now, remember, he is on the second of a 3-year deal. My first question to the people screaming Fire Quinn, fine, you want to shout Fire Quinn from the rooftops, the mountaintops, whatever, that's great. But you know what? I don't want to hear it unless you give me a better option. Not, and quote, anyone else is not an actual option. The Sharks started 8D against Seattle. Was that Quinn's fault? Or was that a lack of options?
Right.
That was Labanc getting slew-footed, so he was scratched, and Vlasic scratched due to sucking. So Quinn played the cards he was dealt. If anything, I could see people blaming Greer for not calling somebody up or giving Quinn better players. But, dude, everybody predicted, including us, the Sharks would be bad. I don't know that we thought they would be quite this bad, but everybody, publications, podcasts, NHL radio, everybody, the Sharks are going to suck this year. And now you have people coming out, this team is embarrassing, fire everyone. It's last season there were fans saying the Sharks screwed themselves out of getting Bedard with those extra wins. And today they're the worst team, have the best odds, and now it's, this is embarrassing, fire everyone. Pick a lane. Let me ask you this. If you had your choice for a head coach, would you choose David Quinn or Bob Boughner?
Honestly, because it doesn't matter, I would flip a coin. I mean, I think, when you get a bit more nuanced and you go into the conversations that we had about Bob Boughner's apparent refusal to play young players, I would say David Quinn. But at the same time, with this team, it could be me behind the bench and nothing will matter.
Yeah, but my point being that it's like, this team performed better when Boughner was here. So, wouldn't that mean Boughner's the better coach?
Well, AJ, let me tell you something. And I had to call the NHL to confirm this. They only give out one Stanley Cup. And I'm sorry to tell you the Sharks didn't get it the years
I've heard
Boughner
that.
was coaching.
I've heard that. I'm glad you were able to confirm it.
I'm sorry to tell you that.
But just my point being is that it's like, well, based on the numbers, Bugner's a better coach, but there was a whole bunch of people calling, oh, no, Bugner was horrible or whatever. Well, yeah, but the numbers, he won more games. Why did he win more games? Is it because...
more high-end talent.
Thank you. There's my point. He had more talent. So please, with the fire Quinn stuff, stop. With this lineup, you could have Tony fucking Robbins in there doing motivational speaking. It's not going to make a difference. Now, and then to the other fact, have you heard of a coach named Jay Woodcroft?
Mm-hmm.
Did I dream this? Did he have the best winning percentage of Edmonton Oilers coaches in history?
Yep.
And we're talking a franchise that had a player by the name of Wayne Gretzky.
I heard that guy was good too.
Yeah, so I guess Jay Woodcroft is a better coach than the guy who won multiple cups with Wayne Gretzky, eh?
Seems that way.
Yeah. So you get what I'm saying? It's just, ugh.
Well, there's too much nuance, right?
Well, to me, no, it's not. I mean, there's nuance when you and I have a discussion like this. Like, you can go down certain rabbit holes. My point is, I'm just the whole fire. Anytime the Sharks shit the bed, it's fire Quinn. It's not, hey, bench this idiot for not doing something, or bench this guy or whatever. It's fire Quinn, and I'm like, give me a break.
Well, and what I mean to say is there's more nuances. It's not that simple, right? It's not as simple to say, oh, fire Quinn, because since this is the third head coach since the Sharks have started missing the playoffs consistently. Like, at the end of the day, it's the players and it's the person who assembles the team, right? And now that said, the Sharks being bad, I don't think anybody deserves any kind of criticism for that, because this was all part of the plan. You tell me this. Answer this question for me.
Mm-hmm.
We know what the Sharks are. We knew what they were last year and in the offseason and coming into this year. Imagine if Mike Greer had said, we are so sick of losing. We are so sick of missing the playoffs. We're going to trade every draft pick and prospect that we have in order to ostensibly purchase a roster to make the frickin' playoffs. You know how many people would be like on life support after hearing that?
Absolutely. Well, and when it comes to, like,
you can't force it.
Well, it was, we need to fire Wilson. Oh, well, Wilson's not here anymore. Well, then now, okay, we need to fire the coach or whatever. You know who I would say, like, if you want to run this shit back, I would think the people that need to be given the pink slip, if they're still around, can we talk about whoever drove the draft picks between 2013 and 2019? Because last I checked, they took like 40-plus players. 2 of them are still here. 2. One of them is Mario Ferraro, who is, as we've already stated our piece earlier on Ferraro. The other one is Kevin Labanc. If you had to put some scratch on it right now, be honest. Are you betting that Kevin Labanc is in a Sharks jersey next season? I'm not.
Nope. No way.
Yeah. So
and
now you're down to 1.
Well, and the thing is, you look at the teams that have won Stanley Cups just in the last 15 years, right? Chicago, Pittsburgh,
Tampa,
Vegas, Tampa, Los Angeles, right? I should say teams that have won multiple cups. Obviously, Vegas has not won multiple cups, but Tampa, LA, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Boston, they've only won 1 cup.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Boston's only won 1 cup, but they've been to 3 finals, right? What do all those teams have in common? They have backfill.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we won the cup with this team, or we made the final with this team, and it was awesome. And, the salary cap, we got to trade some guys, and guys retire and whatever. But it doesn't matter because we have backfill.
Wasn't Vasilevsky a pick?
Yeah, he was Tampa's first-round pick in 2012.
Hey, now.
That they traded for. They traded for that first, by the way. So
wow.
That's why we always say, when the Sharks make a sneaky deal, Jacob Megna for a 4th-round pick. Well, don't be so sure.
Yeah, and
you never know.
And look, let's be fair about it. No team is going to hit every if they did, then it would be the same Stanley Cup winner every season.
Yeah, but you got to hit at least 50% of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. That coin has the coin can't have a better percentage of hitting than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's like Merkley was taken above Condre Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the one that we always like to get into? The one that they traded up to get Mirko Mueller, and the 2 picks that were taken and you. Who was it?
Anthony Mantha and Tyler Bertuzzi.
Oh, it's such a kick in the balls. So
I mean, that's a third of a top 6 right there.
yeah. So you just kind of go, ay. Now, let's look at what has happened over the last couple seasons. I mean, Quentin Musty over like 2 games has had what, like 5 goals and 4 assists?
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. Last time I looked, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Had hat trick.
Many people are saying.
Yeah, hat trick the other night. Earlier today, 2 goals and assist. Will Smith is second, I believe, on Boston College in scoring, and Haltonen had a hat trick this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, again, it's all part of the plan. Go watch The Dark Knight. This is all part of the plan. Let's see what this team looks like in a couple years. You know, this is. You know what I feel like is a lot of Sharks fans with all the Fire Quinn bullshit and like this whole rebuild. This is a fan base. They want the baby. They don't want the labor pains.
Sure.
Stop it. So let's get on to some of the stuff around the NHL. This tickled me to no end. It was announced that NHL teams with NBA and MLB to launch responsible gaming campaign. Sure. I mean, you have to think it's kind of funny when over the last 5 years, how many times now have we seen it that part of every pregame show, they show what betting odds are on the game? I mean, everything is DraftKings and Draft Pros and this, that, and the other. I mean, but can I say a few names like, Tim Peel, Evander Kane, Pete Rose, Tim Donaghy, Shane Pinto? In other news, San Quentin inmates are launching a campaign about respecting law enforcement. I mean, bro, you bet responsibly, sir.
Well, yeah, because
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you need somebody to beat you over the head with ads about that? Or do you just like look at your bank statement and go, this is how much I can afford to lose. Let's have a fun.
Well, it's the same thing with everything else, right? Drink responsibly.
Yeah, everything in moderation.
No, but not even that. That's not my point. My point is that a lot of these these publications or these commercials or whatever you want to call them, it's more about like all of these things. It's more about vocabulary than it is about action. Like you say, oh, hey, AJ, bet responsibly. And then I turn around and leave the other way and, don't look at you while you're putting your freaking life savings on the pie gow table. You know what I mean? Like, like I think like I'm all for sports gambling because I think it's fun and I think it can create conversation and create a buzz, but there needs to be avenues for people who do get into trouble to get help, and it needs to be more than just a commercial. There needs to be actual action. That's
what I'm saying. But and I understand, Ian saying some people can't moderate. Oh, that's fine. Then don't do it at all.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's the same thing as any other kind of addiction where it's a sickness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. So get treated for it.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Perhaps. But just, I don't know, hearing like a responsible gaming campaign, it's, to me, in my mind, it just seems like such a, I don't know. It just seems like it could be the most hypocritical thing I've ever heard, where it's like, this responsible gaming campaign is going to be brought to you by BetMGM, as Puck Guy said. I don't know. I just think it's so ridiculously hypocritical that it's going to be, bet responsibly. If I want to gamble, I know where to go. I don't need advertisements telling me every 5 seconds watching a game. Like, I think it's overkill. But the other thing that kind of gets me on this, Shane Pinto, what did he get? He lost half a season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he gambled, and from what I understand, he didn't gamble on the NHL.
Right.
Okay, half a season. How much did that cost him?
Well, he doesn't have a contract, so currently nothing.
Oh, well.
But if you want to be technical,
It certainly would have cost him in the deal he would have signed, because now he's a problem.
But here's the thing: it cost him games from his career.
Yep.
And it also, from what I understand, and this has just been spoken about, I don't know that it's been confirmed, but from what I understand, when this came out, Ottawa pulled all of their contract offers off the table, and they said, you have your QO. If you want to play, you can sign it.
Boom. Okay, well, here, can I show you something real quick?
If you must.
I must. Have you heard of a cat by the name of Jake Trouba?
Mm-hmm.
And the way he just completely, just tries to decapitate Trent Frederick. If these guys aren't on ice wearing skates, Jacob Trouba's going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And it blows my mind that you can gamble on a game, lose 41 games, all that salary or whatever. You almost kill a guy. $5,000, no problem. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Which I think, no harm. But it's like, oh, no, it's only $5,000.
Right.
Again, this is another one where I think like it needs to be and I understand the NHLPA, they negotiated all this or whatever, but I see something like that where a guy uses their stick as a weapon. I go back to 5-game minimum. That's where we start. And I don't want to hear the other angle bullshit. Even Dangle had a great tweet about that. He was like, what's the guy? Trouba. Trouba, swings the stick, totally drills Trent Frederick in the head. And in this other angle, Jake Trouba totally nails Frederick in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Either way. And see, I'm right there with Kevin saying, look, the angle, it doesn't look nearly as bad in one particular angle. It's still, that's a suspension minimum. The fact that only cost $5,000, I'm like, come on. And is this a case of, the fox guarding the hen house? Like when it comes to, what's the guy who's running player safety? Isn't he a former tough guy? Paros?
Mm-hmm.
Is that really the guy we should have there in that position?
Well, and it's like, I think the rationale is like, let's put a tough guy in player safety because they know what to look for,
Yeah, see, I feel it's like, I could have taken that's fine. That should only be $5,000. I could have taken that.
If you ask me, player safety should be a team.
Absolutely. Should be like 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They vote and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, let's move on along the NHL. What the hell is going on with Corey Perry and the Blackhawks? I know we mentioned it earlier. What is going on there?
Personal reasons.
Is it that the Chicago are tired of Corey Perry's personality? Is that the personal reason part of it? Because it's just so weird that they are being so tight-lipped on this. And let's be honest, Chicago Blackhawks, the last time they were tight-lipped about something. Anyway, how proud were you, I should say? How proud were you of Marc-André Fleury this week?
Very proud.
I can't. So, for those of you who don't know, as part of Native American Heritage Night, and to honor his wife, who is Native, Marc-André Fleury had a custom-designed mask created by Cole Red Horse Taylor. Masks had quotes, his dad on the back, it had his kids' names. And the NHL came out and said, oh, yeah, you can't wear that even in warm-ups. Agent Alan Walsh said Fleury, and this is the same. Dude, have you ever seen an agent in a player's corner harder than this guy?
No.
This is the guy who tweeted out the pic with the sword through Fleury, right?
Yes.
Oh, man. So he offered to pay whatever fine the league would levy. Then the NHL threatened that the Wild organization would pay an additional significant fine. And, of course, to me, I'm going, dude, Fleury makes $3.5 million a year. The Wild are valued at 1.8 per Sportico, and the mask is being auctioned off. And your ignorant policies and Fleury's actions have all but guaranteed it's going to go for at least twice what it was expected. And then the NHL completely capitulated. They caved.
Yeah.
No fines. No. So where are we right now with this? I mean, should it just be a case of like players just go out there and dare the NHL?
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing when Travis Dermott had the pride tape on his stick, where it was like, "This is a cause I believe in. I don't really care what you say."
And how bad is the NHL going to look if they try to find these guys?
They're going to look really stupid, and they're going to look really tone deaf, considering the initiatives that they allegedly hold to be important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I know that there's some guys, they have like crosses, they've got Bible verses on their masks. So like, I just don't understand how, okay, your religious beliefs trump somebody other beliefs in, I don't know, like hockey being for everyone per se.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing that Bettman said, okay, since a couple people don't care for it, we're banning it across the line. I think we need to go back and just say, you know what? The guys are more than welcome to wear whatever specialty jersey they want to. And if they don't want to, they don't have to. And we all just be adult about it and get on with our lives.
Right.
Do you think Ovechkin saved hockey with Sidney Crosby?
Yes.
And why do you say that?
Well, specifically for Pittsburgh, had Pittsburgh not drafted Sidney Crosby, they would have had to file bankruptcy and relocate. But also,
their situation was that dire in that moment?
It was.
Wow. Okay.
You also have to understand that what's called the dead puck era ended when those two guys entered the league. And since they entered the league, goal scoring per game is way up. Plus, to add on top of it, they were kind of to my recollection, the first guys in a while. And I think it's a product of them joining at the same time, right? Sid versus Ovi kind of thing. But that was the NHL's like biggest marketing campaign that they've had, like, maybe ever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well,
also coming out of a lockout where interest may have been waning. I mean, there's so many
games
factors.
were being shown on OLN and Versus at that point.
Right.
So that, and if you go back and look, get on YouTube, just type in NHL funny commercials.
Mm-hmm.
There are some really good commercials that featured Sidney and Alex, including, some national ones that were like part of ESPN or whatnot, where there was one that depicted Ovi as like a Russian spy.
Mm-hmm.
There are some good ones in there. So does it kind of, because we're talking almost 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, 2005 is when they both entered the league.
So at that point, this kind of goes back to something you were mentioning over the last week or so. How did the NHL get so bad at marketing?
Yeah, I honestly don't have a good answer for you because they are bad, especially considering of the four major sports, they're probably fourth in terms of popularity.
Oh, see, I'd say fifth out of the four.
But, they just, I don't know, man. They just keep finding ways,
We mentioned it I don't know if it was a couple weeks ago or last week. It was probably last week that the PWHL came out with the 6 teams that they're going to have, or at least I should say the 6 cities that we're going to have teams, and there's no names, no mascots. Somebody went down the rabbit hole and found out that a legal entity secured some trademarks on some names. So the PWHL teams sound, at least at this point, if we're going to have the Toronto Torch, the Montreal Echo, the Ottawa Alert, Minnesota Superior, Boston Wicked, and New York Sound. Now, I should note, all 6 of those names, those are all singularity, which is really odd. You know, so few. Is there more than 2 in the NHL? There's the Lightning and the Avalanche. Is there one more?
Kraken.
There you go. I can't think of another one. Not saying that there isn't.
Yeah, nothing comes to mind.
Yeah, so but you get what I'm saying, right? Oh, the Wild.
Wild. Yep, good one.
But okay, so Toronto Torch.
I don't know. I think they're all fine. I think
Ottawa Alert, Minnesota
it's
Superior, Boston Wicked is my top pick.
I mean, you want to be different, right? You want to stand out. And again, 2 weeks in a row, right? This is the second week in a row we've talked about the PWHL, you know, and we're talking about the league. That's what people want. And
Lightning, that's another one.
That's what they want. And so I think it's fun. I think they're unique. I think, you know, a lot of team names are kind of, you know, either the name itself or the concept. I think a lot of it is recycled, and so it's nice to see something that's different.
Barracuda, singular, and
not an NHL team though.
Well, I know, but we're just talking names. Not so mid-major, pointing out a lot of WNBA names are like that. There's there's the New York Liberty. You'll have to forgive me. I don't know very many in the way of WNBA teams, but maybe that's a way to kind of distinguish your product from the men's side. But I like it. It's interesting. It definitely gives you some options. Oh man, tweet of the week. We have to we got to give a little stick tap to Puck Guy on this one. He delivered the photo. What in the fuck is this? What?
It's a bit low, huh?
When the fuck is this? So Fanatics continues to ruin the brand of Mitchell and Ness that they purchased. What is it about every time Fanatics purchases a property that has a pretty solid reputation, and Mitchell and Ness at that point, sterling reputation. And I look at these jerseys. First off, not even on the logo placement. I look at that 2000 patch and I'm like, what in God's name is that? I look at the names like these.
The name bar seems a bit low.
Everything about this seems off. Like I look at this and I go, you would see these at a swap meet in Tijuana. Like the quality of these, I don't even get it. And the other thing I want to note, who the hell put this on the floor? Like I worked in retail at one point. If I saw this jersey, it immediately would have went into a return pile. So I don't even understand how that's out there. And it should be noted, these abominations are selling for $200. A year ago, if you remember, Adidas did a classic run of a couple different ones, including a very original Sharks jersey, and the quality was 1,000 times better than this, and it was $50 less. I mean, dude, these look fake. Dude, if I was running the store, I'd send them all back.
I wouldn't say they look fake as much as they look incorrectly plated.
Well, dude, from what I understand, people said that the color teal is completely off in person.
I would disagree with that. I saw them in person. It looked fine to me.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
It's because, and AJ, you know this.
You know.
Puck Guy knows this. The teal that this era jersey used is a bit different than the teal that's used now.
It's a little more on the blue side.
And I think that's maybe some commentary from newer fans or people who are more accustomed to the current jerseys. Just speculating.
I feel you. But I just don't understand who was the person that adhered that crest and thought that looked fine.
I don't know. Makes you think.
Oh, this is just horrific. And I would almost bet you could get on eBay right now find a CCM or a Coho or a Nike or whatever. So, these are replicas. You could go find a replica, and it would probably be cheaper and 10,000 times better quality. And what is with these obnoxious tags on the bottom, on the waist? Ugh. I don't know. Just everything about this was wrong. If I was the Sharks, if I had any type of pull or whatever, I would pull all of these down, send them back, whoever shipped the team, and say, we don't want them. We're not selling these. They suck. Stop ruining our brand. Now, all that being said, what if the current Shark jersey looked like this?
I would like that.
I would love that. Like, dude, just make the interior stripe gray on the sleeves and on the waist, and we have a winner. Because I love the fact that the white of the original crest, it now offers balance to that new white shoulder marker. You feel me?
Yeah.
Oh. Chef's kiss. I love this. This is found on Reddit, by the way. We do have a little video of Fanatics making the change over to Adidas jerseys. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Yeah, pretty easy. I think it'll go really well. Everybody will be buying those. There you go. Let's get to the CUDA before we get out of here.
Ooh, Barracuda.
Oh, your San Jose Barracuda. They did play 3 this week, including a 5-4 sneaky win over San Diego. They tried to hand the game back to the Gulls, who just suck this year. And that's saying a lot when you look at where the Barracuda are at. That handed the Gulls their 12th straight loss. Bordeleau potted 2 of the 3 CUDA power play goals, and former CUDA, Andrew Agazzino, had a goal and an assist. But Ethan Cardwell had a 3-point night with a goal and 2 assists. And during a pair this weekend against the Ontario Reign, the CUDA were shut out 3-0 in Game 1, lost 4-2 yesterday. They're currently 8th of 10th in the Pacific. And if you want to talk about firing coaches, how is nobody bringing up John McCarthy?
Yeah, it's. I hate to even think about it, but it feels like, I don't know. It just kind of feels like he's going to have as much runway as possible, you know?
And I don't get, why is that? Because he was he came up and he was a player. And I mean, like, last time I looked, like, results matter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like the CUDA have had pretty solid results. Like, weren't a lot of people predicting, saying that the Barracuda, the results were going to be there this year? Like, they were going to have a pretty decently stacked team?
Well, they were supposed to be last year, too.
So, yeah, makes me wonder why nobody mentions John McCarthy's name, and maybe sweeping that whole group and starting over with people that, I don't know, perhaps have a known reputation to deal and coach at that level and help bring guys up. But,
well, you see, AJ, here's the thing.
Uh-oh. I'm about to get
that would
schooled.
require people to have heard about the Barracuda before. Whether you like it or not, that's just the truth.
Yeah. So anyway, for more on the Barracuda and the prospects, as we said earlier, we talked about Will Smith, Quentin Musty, Casper Haltonen. Make sure that you find our buddies on the Tweety machine, Ian Reed, Sharks Jules, Mark E. Mark. They're on the Tweety, always doing the tweets.
Kevin Labanc.
Oh, yes. Oh, my bad. Totally apologize for that. They're always out there tweeting about the CUDA and other San Jose prospects in the pipeline. So make sure you go hit them. Who is no one? Like, what am I even doing here? Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Ian had it. Okay. Look, I try to do my rundowns and sometimes not everything fits. Calm down, people. Call me out on your show.
No. Okay. If it came off wrong, that's my bad.
Oh.
Not that no one knows the Barracuda exists. More people need to know the Barracuda exists.
Oh, that was on you. That wasn't on me. Oh, okay, cool.
No, that's what I meant.
Oh, I got you.
Which, again, that is true. More people do need to know about the Barracuda.
Absolutely.
Which is why the names you mentioned put out the content that they do.
There you go. Sir, how much time on ice did Hurdle spend this
Can we
week?
just wrap it up? I'm hungry.
How much time on ice did Hurdle spend? I'm trying to get us out of here. Tell me the answer so we can hand out a prize.
69 minutes and 69 seconds. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
Nice. So a conversation's going to need to be had, but we'll get into it.
Fuck.
I know.
Every week with this.
Well, so through the 4 games, Hurdle, your buddy, he played 86 minutes and 49 seconds over the 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to tell you, as it was a couple weeks ago.
It was highest without going over, yay?
It always is.
All right.
As it was a couple weeks ago, the highest guess was the winner.
And who was that? Please tell me it's somebody that hasn't won yet.
It is somebody that hasn't won yet.
Yes.
I think you are going to maybe bang your head on the wall when I tell you who won.
It's got to be somebody who was in the US 48.
It's not.
Fuck.
Not only are they not in the US 48, they are not in North America.
Is it Tiger?
It is Tiger.
God damn it.
Like a Tiger, our buddy, famous in the Discord server, with 84 minutes and 56 seconds as his guess, is the winner.
Okay. Tiger, we're going to have to work some shit out offline if I'm going to get this to you, and you are going to have to pay some freight. If you don't want to pay the freight, I understand that. Just tell me now, and we'll move on to the next person who won. Because I'm guaranteeing you, dude, freight to Australia for this box is probably going to be somewhere in the ballpark of like $55-$60, and that might be me. That might be me lowballing. So, oh, wait a minute. We can donate to Pat. Wait, Pat's local?
Pat is in like I don't want to say where, but
is in the US 48.
They're in California.
Oh, well, see. Okay, Tyga, good on you then.
Okay, hold on a second, because there's some controversy here.
Uh-oh.
Now, and this is a debate, as the organizers of the giveaway, should we say next caller, or as the winner of the giveaway, should Tiger say, this is who I want you to give it to?
Oh, I think that's totally on Tiger. They own the prize.
Fair enough.
So
Tiger said also in the chat, Tiger said they were going to chat at you, so maybe a solution has worked out.
All right then.
I think donating it to Pat, I think more was more trying to be funny.
All right, we're gonna have to. Okay, so just in case the person who came in second,
which there was a person who came in second,
of course. So Tyga, you need to, I think, illustrate in the chat. Are you serious? Are you trying to be like a nice guy and say, hey, you know what, give it to Pat, that's fine? Or are you being a smartass and then we're just gonna give it to let's just give it to Tyga. It's on you, dude. Should we just give it to the person who's second? Next caller. While you do that, Jerk and I are going to try to figure out what the hell are we going to do for the 4 games this week.
Oh, there's 4 games again? Jesus.
Yeah.
It's the Capitals, it's the Bruins, it's the Devils.
And
Zetterlund's return.
And Timo Meyer.
Yeah, but it's in Jersey. So.
Yeah, and the Rags.
And the Rangers, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because we had snapped around a couple ideas. Might have been 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I'm
really bummed that this past week we didn't know to be able to go. How many times David Quinn says "freaking" in the post game?
Right, but, there's another F word that ends in G. He wants to say.
So how we gonna fuck this pig?
Well, do you want to address Tiger? Tiger said we should give it to second place.
Really? Okay, fuck you, Pat. All right. So, second place then.
Second place.
Hold on. Let me make sure we put his comment, out there so we can screenshot it if need be.
It's all above board.
Yeah, sorry, Pat.
And in second place, with 84 minutes and 48 seconds. This person was only actually really quite interesting thing here. This person's guess was 8 seconds away from Tiger's guess. Wow. This person also made a typo and sent me a correction.
That's somebody who wanted to make sure they had it together. I like that. I love the commitment to the cause.
Yeah, this person originally said 48 minutes, and I was like, guy, there's 4 games. and they sent a correction, so clearly it worked out. Jim Reynolds, it's not a name I'm overly familiar with, but
Dude, hold on, do me a favor.
Yes.
That's, you know what, nah, never mind. Oh my God, dude, he's going to laugh his ass off, dude. That's who I went to the Barracuda game with last week.
That's hilarious.
Dude, I played softball with him and his wife forever.
Yeah, so they were the winner.
Dude, Jimmy, congratulations, bro. He never watches us live. He always picks us up the next day on audio. So it'll either be tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm going to be getting a text message from him just laughing that he can't believe he won it. And to be fair, he's so nice. He may go, fuck it, give it to whoever came in third.
Well, if
no, we're going.
There might need to be an emergency podcast. But Jim Reynolds, like I said, not a name I'm super familiar with, like I said, but they've played in. Just doing a quick scan here, they've played in the last 3 giveaways.
Oh hell yeah!
So, yeah, so that's fun.
Oh, that's Jimmy, dude, too cool. That's
Molasses. I don't want to say who third is because I don't want to.
Was it Molasses?
It was not Molasses.
Okay, then that's all that matters.
Similar to the ESPN Fantasy League we're doing in the Discord, similar to the prediction game we're doing in the Discord, Molasses was nowhere near first place.
Okay, see, there you go. Now you can feel better about it.
I'm just kidding, Molasses. You were in the top 50% on this one. I'll tell you that.
All right. How we gonna do this, pig? Ferraro total penalty minutes? No, I'm kidding. I mean, I feel like time on ice is one of the things that can be pretty consistent, along with save percentage.
So let's run the clock back here a little bit. So this season we've done penalties drawn, team save percentage, shots on goal 4, shots on goal allowed, block shots 4, hurdle ice time. So we've kind of
I mean, we can't get too crazy with this. With 4 games this week,
there's a lot of runway.
And I don't have a problem with rehashing, a couple of these. I mean, just based on the amount of time we have for every Sunday, we're going to rehash ones. Maybe this week 4 games, and the fact that this week the Sharks finally did win once the shots on goal battle. Maybe we go that. We do, closest without going over, total shots on goal over these next 4 games.
I'm not against it per se.
Okay, give me one you want. I'll go. I'm totally willing to defer to you.
Yeah, I would think. I know because I suggested one a couple weeks ago that you really enjoyed, and
we didn't go with it?
No, because I think we were gonna save it. We were gonna save it for I think a week that had a lot of games, and then by last week we had forgotten.
Oh, we gotta write that shit down.
We could do team face-off percentage over the 4 games. We could do power play percentage. We could do. I mean, we've done shots. We've done blocks. We could do hits, although that's kind of boring.
I don't think we've done blocks.
Yeah, we did blocks. Blocks was last week's.
That was shot. It was shot. I thought it was hurdles time on ice without going over was last week.
Well, no, hurdle ice time was this past week. The week we talked about today was hurdle ice time. The week we talked about last week was block shots. It's very confusing. That's why I always look at it as what prize are we giving away? That's how I always look at it.
I mean, do you want to go total saved?
That could be fun because, the teams we're playing right now.
That's what Molasses wants.
I like Molasses needs to get a fucking win. So, maybe, but you think about it, right? So you're playing the Capitals, you're playing Boston, you're playing the Devils, you're playing the Rangers. The thing is, dude, like shots on goal, saves, like similar to shots on goal it's not a straight line. You know what I mean? Like the Capitals are completely fucking terrible and they could put up 40 tomorrow. And then on Friday, the Sharks could hold the Devils to 16. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I like about doing specifically shots and saves and those kinds of things is you have to give it some thought. It's not as easy as being like, 50, like you actually have to think about it, which I like that.
So we're going 4 games. It's combined, so it doesn't matter if Kakinen starts all 4 or if they split them up.
Doesn't matter if both goalies play in every game.
And it could happen. So we're going shots saved.
Yes, total saves.
Total saves over these.
Save percentage, total saves.
Yeah, total saves. All right. So as he stated, after a heavy holiday week for the Sharks, it's going to be heavy again. They're going to host the Capitals tomorrow before heading out on their longest road trip of the season. It's a 6-game run that starts in Beantown. Followed by that, they're going to see Timo in New Jersey. And a week from tonight against the Rangers. Again, you know what that means. Pucknologists. We got to come up with a better name. We're going to take over after dark next week. So next Sunday, instead of our usual 7 p.m. Pacific start, we're going to be live immediately following the game against the Rangers. You know how it works, people. Total shots saved by the Sharks in these 4 games. Email your prediction. hockeyjerk10@gmail.com. Your answers must be submitted tomorrow. What time does the Capitals game start?
Tomorrow by puck drop.
Tomorrow, 7 p.m. We'll just say 7.
I don't care if it comes in.
Okay, by puck drop. There you go.
I think that's okay.
Yeah. Answers have to be submitted before the puck is dropped versus the Sharks and Capitals at SAP tomorrow. So tomorrow, November 27th.
Correct.
2023. And we'll
just
announce we'll announce the winner next week as we always do. And you know what? I'm feeling froggy.
Sure.
Another prize pack. We're doing all 3 on this one.
Okay. All right. I see you.
So, yeah, full and a signed placard.
Oh, hey now.
Full go. Because I'm feeling, again, it's Thanksgiving weekend. Had a good weekend, man.
Nice.
So, I was feeling froggy.
And just in case anybody needs something to target, the 4 games this past week, there were 109 saves. As we said, though, Sharks are playing a couple good teams. They're also playing a couple shitty teams. And as we know, any dog can have their day. So,
and the Sharks were trending up before the whole Seattle debacle.
Yep.
So
Washington Capitals are frauds.
And like I said, for the first time this season, during a game this week, they actually had more shots on goal than they allowed. So I love the fact that we just keep needling that, where people, man, I was going to say this, but now they said that. Now I got to change my. So
we've already gotten 3 submissions into the email.
Nice.
And I will tell you this: it shouldn't come as a surprise.
Molasses is one of them.
He was number 1.
That's the one thing he can win: quickest submission. Ramon, are you serious? What are we guessing again? Total shots saved by the Sharks over the next 4 games.
There it is.
All right.
Here's the thing. You know what's fun? I can't decide what I like more.
Say it.
Seeing reoccurring submissions, because that means that like we have a following, or seeing new submissions because we're growing or reaching out to more people. You know, I can't tell what I like more.
Can both things be true?
Sure.
And for past winners that have not received their prize packs yet, that, hey, dude, I have day job. Sometimes it supersedes doing this little dog and pony thing, but all remaining prizes will ship this week. Just let you know. So if you're still waiting,
and also just to do some housekeeping on that one. Let's see. Just to do some housekeeping, Bozosaurus, Brandon Workman, Brett Jansen, Sean Rashkes, and then Jim Reynolds. Those are people waiting for prizes. Just to do the housekeeping.
I felt like one of those already shipped out something to that name.
Well, yeah, because Brandon Workman, he was the fake winner a month ago,
yes.
and then last week he was the real winner,
Got it.
which happens.
Yeah. So, yeah, those will all be going out. Fucking Jim, I could just probably meet him at the next CUDA game. All right. So, the bets, nothing, no change in the bets, but you know what, though? Who was it? Oh, I want to give them credit for it. We've been on this for too fucking long. Oh, God. Okay. I apologize. Somebody brought this up. I don't want to spend time on it because it's just nothing but dead air. But somebody brought up, and if you know who it was, take your credit. We're doing this, dude. The next time the Sharks, let's see, all right. January 2nd, January 4th, January 6th. All right, so begin the new year of 2024. The Sharks have a 3-game homestand. You know what our prize pack is going to be? It's going to be who can guess the total attendance for those 3 games.
Average attendance or cumulative attendance?
When Pashelka or Shang, whoever, they do that little thing where it says tonight's announced attendance or whatever is, 10,582 or 15,263, whatever. Those 3 games combined.
Okay. And that's going to be you said that's going to be announced on the New Year's Eve show?
The show, it'll be the so we're actually on New Year's Eve because the Sharks play a game on New Year's Eve.
And that's when we'll announce it.
No. Yes, you are correct. So it'll be announced on New Year's Eve, but it'll be that week following it. That's going to be what the question is. Oh, I can't wait to do that. We might recycle that too because there's definitely going to be some times between now and the end of the season where that could be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Love it. So, again, shout out to those who used the Venmo and Super Chat options over the last week. Nobody decided to use it tonight. That's fine. It's fine. Whatever. On Twitter, you can follow him at hockey_jerk. Don't worry about following me. It's fine. Remember to subscribe, though, to our YouTube channel and leave your take in the comment section of this video. If you weren't with us live, remember to follow us at Tealtown USA on pretty much everything. Just everything. We're there. And if you ever miss it, we're going to be on your podcast platform, so go check those out. You can find links to our social media, podcast apps, and more included in the show notes, and get everything on tealtownusa.com. And remember, the Discord VIP invite belongs to Hockey Jerk. You can use that email I said before, or better yet, hit them up at hockey_jerk on Twitter. And tomorrow, the Sharks will play the Capitals. That means After Dark follows, just like every single other Sharks game. So I don't know who's going tomorrow, but it should be fun. Any parting shots for you? What? Go ahead.
You want to let's do a little teaser then. Tomorrow's After Dark is currently to be announced host.
That's my favorite. That's right up there with my second with Jerk's second favorite player, Cap Space.
Yeah, tomorrow's After Dark will be to be announced host along with Mark riding shotgun.
Nice.
Yep.
Mark riding shotgun on a game in San Jose? That's a choice.
Stranger things have happened.
Might need to confirm that. Jerry F in the chat saying, I would love to see a Teal Town meet up at the Tank sometime. The last one a few years ago was awesome, especially as I am in San Diego. I don't want to get people too juiced, but I will say that perhaps something is in the works for mid to late March, maybe say around the time that the calendar turns to spring. And I think it might be more fun to do it at Tech CU. So just saying. And of course, Ian throwing his hand up saying, it'll probably be me tomorrow. or puck guy. We don't know. We don't know these things. But aside from that, your parting shots. What kind of fries you getting tonight?
Just regular French fries. I guess would you call them like shoestring fries, I guess?
Sure.
That's classic is kind of the way to go for something like that, I think. Parting shot, last week, I was kind of sold a bill of goods that I was going to have people at the tank accosting me left, right, and center. And there were
they can't accost you if they don't know what you look like.
Hey, dude, everybody knows. They're just being polite to my social media exposure preferences. I didn't have anybody say hi to me from the show. And so you missed out on getting the fucking Discord link.
What? Didn't you run into Eric at all?
No, Eric was at the Saturday game. I was at the Friday game.
Oh.
We were two ships passing in the night.
Evidently so. See,
I saw some people that
look at John.
John saved us. John saved us.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that super chat, dude. That's super cool.
John, I await your entry into the giveaway.
Nice. John.
They're always one of the first entries.
Nice. I'm sorry, you were saying?
Oh, I saw some people that I knew, and I'll just leave it at that.
All right. So, I don't know. For me, I'll just I just hope everybody had a really good Thanksgiving. I know that I enjoyed 4 straight days off, and
dude, tell me about
it. and to be honest, Wednesday, the amount of work I did felt like a 5th day off. If you get my meaning.
Actually, it's funny that you say that. I actually had 5 days off, and
nice.
I don't want to go back.
I feel you. I'm really looking forward to the end of next month. Getting here really super quick.
Dude, me too, dude. I seldomly do anything, right? And
you mean like big for the holidays?
Big for the holidays, but just also in general. I'm not going to dox myself here, but let's just say my job is very generous with the paid time off they give us.
Sweet. But
I don't do things, right? So usually what I do is I just ration my PTO till the end of the year and then dump whatever I can't roll over.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
So like this year, if everything goes according to plan, I need to, maybe I need to buy my boss like lunch or something to kind of smooth it over. But, if everything goes according to plan, I'm going to have like a 10-day weekend to end the year.
Oh, I'm looking at a 14-day weekend for the end of the year.
Yep.
Got like 20th through the 4th or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking
going
20, hard. Yeah, I'm thinking probably 20. I might cut out early on the 22nd and then return on the 2nd. That's kind of what I'm vibing.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. And I've yet to go to a Sharks game this year. So
that's surprising to me.
A little surprising to me too, especially because I've had multiple people over this like these 21 games like hit me up and like, dude, you want tickets for tonight? And I'm like, nah, I got other shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have tickets for 5 games after that begin after the new year. So I think the first one is the 20th or something. But I'll finally get to a game. It's pretty goddamn rare that we can be beyond Thanksgiving, and I've been to more Barracuda games than Sharks games.
Yeah,
that's one that to really make you go, who?
Speaking of games, they're the old Sharks. You know them. They're going to be in Vegas on December 10th. I'm giving that game the horse eye. Here's the only.
Well, I was going to say, have you given the price tag the horse eye yet?
I'm looking right now, and it's actually about $40. The cheapest ticket is about $40 cheaper than the cheapest ticket on November. I believe it was November 12th or November 10th.
Did you go to the November 10th game?
No, I gassed the November 10th game because I didn't want to pay the ticket.
Yeah, I was going to say that the freight on that was like ridiculously high, but you're talking Stanley Cup champion versus nemesis.
Yeah, the November 10th game, it was 104 for nosebleeds.
Jesus.
Yeah, this game looks like it's going to be like 55 for nosebleeds, thereabouts.
Dude, what'd you pay for the Saturday game? Or I'm sorry, Black Friday game?
That one, I kind of jammed myself up on that one a little bit because I was looking at tickets and the cheapest I saw was $16, and I took a shower, and then I literally came back, looked it up, and the cheapest was 31.
Oh man.
So I kind of jammed myself up a little bit, but I had a good time. I got to do I got to do a lot of the things that I used to do back in the day. I went to the Brit, cruised around on a Lime scooter, all that kind of shit.
Oh, look at we hung around long enough for Jerry to throw us something. Thank you, Jerry.
Jerry!
Appreciate that, bro. And Jerry, noted winner so far this season.
Yeah, longtime player, one-time winner. Can't say first-time winner because he already won.
Yeah. All right. So you're saying the 10th, the 2 shows from tonight?
Correct. Yeah, but see, there's a little bit of a consideration here because
should we leave this as like a cliffhanger? Oh, excuse me. Cliffhanger is like you will find out next Sunday if Jerk will actually be on the following Sunday.
See, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to know that soon because here's the thing. That day, December the 10th, the Vikings are in town to play the Raiders. And
what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Well, so what I'm here, let me get you there. So it's already like confirmed, locked in that I'm going to that game, Vikings against the Raiders. And so
the fuck are you going to Vikings Raiders for?
One of my family members there, a Vikings fan.
Got it.
And so what I'm sort of debating internally is, okay, the Vikings Raiders game is over at whatever time it's over, maybe 4 p.m. Do I want to diesel on over and double dip,
I feel you.
So it's something to think about. I'm kind of 50-50 because I would like to see, to get the chance to see the Sharks in Vegas just because like when I don't go, like it kind of bums me out a little bit because it's like I'm here, Okay. But at the same time,
is it
price?
Well, I was going to say price, of course, all of that, and it wouldn't surprise. I don't know. Do prices for Sunday games get any type of a bump or a decline if the Raiders are playing earlier that day?
Honestly, dude, I really couldn't say just because I don't know that I've ever been to a Golden Knights game on a Sunday. I think most of the ones I've been to have been either Tuesdays or Thursdays.
Gotcha.
So I really couldn't say.
All right. So I guess we're going to find out here in about 2 weeks if we see the debut. Well, the debut of Jewels.
Let me ask you this question.
Send it.
Wouldn't it be funny if the giveaway for next week, the one that we're going to announce a week from tonight,
is sitting in for you?
That prize is being your co-host in 2 weeks, potentially.
I mean, the whole thing is, the requirement would obviously be like, okay, you got to have Skype, you got to have a good mic.
Right.
I'm not against that idea.
That would be like...
But I shudder at the idea because there's about 3 people I can think of that I'm like, oh, crap. If they win, I'm not even doing a show that night.
I could just picture like... I could just picture it's like, okay, so I'm not going to name any names, but I just like, so and so, the Sharks won 3-2 against da da da. What are your thoughts? And the person comes in, Kevin Labanc is a fucking fraud.
That would so be it, dude. Dude, that I would have to say, unfortunately, that might be a contest. If we were to ever run that, I might have to rig. We might have to rig that.
The winner, it's just like the winner. What is,
oh, man. Dude, Jesus Christ. Guess who just texted me?
Jim?
Yep.
Yeah, because
hey, oh, dude, he just said, hey, we've actually been watching live 20 minutes behind for the last few weeks. Jerk emailed me saying I won, and I'm just seeing it on the video.
Yeah, he responded to my email. He said, awesome. I'm a good friend of AJ, so I'll text him and avoid the shipping.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? See, this is what a cool guy he is. He said, we can meet up if it's like an autograph sign or something like that. But if it's swag we already have, just give it to third place.
Oh.
See? So,
okay.
So have third in your pocket, and I'll talk to Jimmy pretty soon.
Well, and anybody...
and I'm going to say right now, chances are high that Jimmy already has this. And
again, if you are listening live, watching live, and you have an eagle eye on the chat, somewhere in the chat, I may have revealed who third place was.
Oh, well, there you go. And you know who it wasn't? Mike Molasses.
Unfortunately. It's okay, Molasses. We're gonna hook you up with something maybe eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you came up with this week's contest, so it's kind of like yours to lose.
True that. All right, so I think we're about done here. We probably, as we always do, because we care about our listeners that much, that we always give you an hour more than you needed.
I was going to say we finished the official podcast, and then the last 20 minutes is just us bullshitting about anything but what we're supposed to talk about.
There you go. So, again,
I like that theme. That's fun.
Oh, it absolutely is fun. So, again, we got After Dark following 3 games this week. Ooh, boy. Capitals, fine. I don't know. How are you feeling about that Jersey game with Timo? Because, I mean, things have not gone well with Timo so far this season.
Trap. It's a trap.
Really? Okay, I like that. Boston, dude, I think they might get waxed.
Yep, probably.
And then Rags, how much are you looking forward to an earlier version of the Pucknologists next week?
I'm excited, dude. I mean, it based on, prior experience tells us that tomorrow's show is going to start between 5:30 and 6. So kind of juiced for that one. What did I say tomorrow?
Yeah.
I meant a week from today. My bad.
Yeah, so it's I believe that's a 3:00 local start here in San Jose. So that means we're probably going to be on the air closer to like 5:45.
I was going to say, yeah, between 5:30 and 6, just depending on how things go.
Yeah. Oh man, how stoked are you? Oh shit! And now Puck Guy just fucking put the pressure on. What's in store for episode 200? The same thing that's been in store for 1 through 199, man. 2 guys just sitting here shooting this shit. But you know what? Okay, I'm going to throw that back to Puck Guy. I'm going to be like, okay, you know what? You need more responsibility on your plate. Deliver me your 5 favorite Pucknologist moments over episodes 1 through 199, bitch.
You know how long that would take to compile? I don't even think you could, honestly, dude, I don't even think you could make it through the first 199 episodes if you devoted the next week to watching and listening.
Dude, if you devoted the next month.
Right.
But the thing is, and I'm sure you're going to recognize this, I would bet that a lot of our listeners, people in the chat right now, would recognize they remember a moment, something funny that happened, whether it was just us, whether it was back when Rocket was with us, whether it's been Ian subbing in for you or something. There is a moment they remember, yet they don't have any single idea what show it happened on. Because I'm exactly the same. I'm like, how many times have I like DM'd you? And I'm like, hey, dude, you remember that one time this? And you're like, yeah, I think that was like 2 years ago, but I'm not sure.
Well, to your credit, like you have, I mean, at least in the times that I've asked, you've got a pretty good ability to sort of find something. Like we were talking about something this season and I was like, oh yeah, like remember when we said this? And like I don't remember when we said it. And then like 5 minutes later you're like, oh yeah, I clipped it. And I'm like, oh, how did you just find that? You know?
Yeah, sometimes there's certain little triggers that I'm like, I remember there was something really funny. I'd have to go back and listen to figure out what the hell it was, but I do remember there was a very funny moment that occurred in the show that the thumbnail had, I want to say it was Timo's 5-goal game. It was somewhere in there. And, I think another thing that we would probably clip that would be funny is that when we did the manipulated image of Erik Karlsson's hat trick that the puck said, fuck you, AJ.
That was a good one.
Right? There's definitely been a couple where I surprised you, where I had something in the wings and then I like hit the play button. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's been educational. That's for sure.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe we'll try to find a couple clips and, maybe we'll try to save a few minutes on the back end, pretty much like what we've done tonight. And just kind of, dude, this is not going to be a fucking 2-hour retrospective of the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever
Farewell
it's been.
to the Pucknologists.
Yeah. But
What do you mean 5 or 6, dude? This is fucking year 7.
This is what I'm saying. So, but I think definitely some attention will be paid next week. And like we said, we're going to be going on over an hour earlier than normal. So, Puck Guy saying Jerk's evolving shirts. We've gone with the same one the entire season this year because this is fine. It's what we want. As Jerk likes to say, we got him right where we want him.
Speaking of, can you unrelated? Can you text Jim what the prize is going to be?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, because he asked me, and I was like, "Well, I don't know what it is." So
yeah, no, I got it. All right, so look forward to that. God, I didn't even. You know what? Good call out. I might have to call upon Puck Guy to help out with an awesome thumbnail for next week. They have big old 200 up in that bitch. So we'll see what happens. Well, it could be fun. So, I mean, dude, because I thought, Uber guy sucked me off was going to kill. So anyway, with that, again, we're going to be on earlier than normal next Sunday, immediately following Rags and Sharks. You're welcome. You don't have to submit yourself to Brody and whoever's with them. So we will catch you all next Sunday. I hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving, enjoyed the turkey coma, and we'll catch you next Sunday. Everybody have a great end to your weekend.